Hey everyone, this is Vishakha. Welcome to my channel. As you guys know, this is my first YouTube video. I was about to film some other video regarding orchids, repotting and caring for them, the beginner's tips. But for some reasons I lost all of the data, and so I thought why not come up with a quick video of orchids which I am currently rescuing. This plant is a separate one. This has got two branches to it, two canes to it. This branch with the leaves is a separate branch that was broken off during the transit, which this one is from the orchids I had recently ordered. This one right here, if you guys can see, is another branch. It's a single cane which has a bud growing on it. And there's this one right here, this one. Even this, just a second, yeah, even this one is a single cane. Orchids without roots do grow, but in case of this, the plant with two branches, I was doubtful because though the canes are green, all of the base of it was damaged, it was rotten, it was broken down, which made me think that the decayed part has somehow extended into the canes. But when you kind of press them, they're still hard. They seem to be healthy. This one right here is a piece that I cut off from a branch of a cane of another orchid from the newly ordered ones. It had no leaves, so I thought why not try propagating it here this way. Coming to this, we'll go step by step and let's see what's going on inside. So I have a few pictures of these that I had clicked few days back. Though I do not have the very initial pictures of these, I will try finding out whatever I have and I'll post it. So I'm very lightly going to take off every single okay, there you go. Now if you guys can see, it has no roots at all, and it is kind of surviving currently from the water moisture absorbed directly through its cane. I am hoping for this branch to survive, mostly because it is thick, very thick. It is also healthy, and there are no signs of damage to it except for these yellowing of leaves. That is pretty common. This is bound to happen because it has no roots, it has no source of nutrition as such, and plus the summer heat in our city, you guys know how it is. One thing we have to take care of while potting any plant for that matter, especially in orchids, is preventing the rotting of this part, the part that you are inserting into the medium. Because of being in continuous contact with moisture, it usually tends to start rotting. This one is still not happening. I have kept it in the medium, I guess, since the past 10 days now, maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, about 10 days, plus or minus. And it is still healthy, it is still not rotting. So what I had done was, every time you cut, be it any plant, I use cinnamon powder at the base, at the cut wound. When we cut a plant, the plant develops a wound, and that needs to heal. When the wound is kept open, chances are, if you might have noticed, few plants start rotting, they die, they decay. That is usually because of the infection that starts here at the cut part. So this is it. Since the past 10 days, about 10 days, when I planted it, these two leaves were green, no doubt. These are turning yellow, and if you guys see, these are not turning yellow because of any infection or anything. They are healthy, but they are drying out. So yeah, let's see. This is one thing that I have planted in the past few days. I'm like trying to rescue, and we'll see what happens to this. Coming to the next, we'll start with this one. Just going to slightly lift it off. I do not want to damage anything. I'm just going to slightly pull it out, just like that. If you guys see, this is a branch again, and it has got no roots. It is completely rootless. Just ignore this. This tends to peel off. It is the layer of dried leaves, old leaves. So if you guys can see, this has no leaves, and it is kind of I think it is kind of decaying, the lower part, but this green part, if you can see, this one, it is kind of soggy when I press it, but this is pretty healthy. So what I am going to do is, now there are two nodes that are arriving from this. All you need to remember is, for orchids to grow, you need to provide moisture. That's it, nothing else. They only need moisture, proper temperature, humidity and warmth. That is all they need. So what I am going to do now is, I'm going to cut this off here. Also remember that infections usually, when begin, they do not usually tend to cross the node. In a plant with no roots, they do not tend to cross the node. So if you guys can see, exactly above the node, there is a healthy tissue. So if you guys can see, there is this healthy tissue above the node, and there's this node again. So whenever a new bud is going to arrive, it is going to come up from the nodes. So what I am going to do here now is, I think, yes, I was right. I need to have a node coming up here as well. I'll just show you guys. I am not sure if you can see it, but let's give it a try. Yeah. So here, if you guys can see, okay, so if you guys can see, there is a small bulge here in this region. I'm not sure if you can make out. This is the bulge, whereas other nodes, they do not have it, nowhere. Okay, this one has one as well, and there is a bud arriving here, right here, and there's this one. So when I was about to discard this cane because it was more shriveled than it is now. With the moisture, this cane has a little bit unshriveled. It was very dry, very dry, and it was kind of yellowish, which I felt is not rescuable. But then I got to see a bud of this size. It's a little smaller than this here. which gave me a hope, which made me take a chance and try propagating it. So today that bud is this size. This was about when I started propagating it. It was, I guess, 15 days back or so, and that bud is this size today. So orchids are kind of slow growers. You do not need to rush with orchids. They take their own time, but they do grow if provided the proper environment. Now this bud, if you guys can see, there are small buds below this, small elevations below this, the small green ones. Hold on, let me focus it. Yeah, if you guys can see, 1 2 3 4, and there's this fifth one as well coming here right inside. So these are going to be the roots. These are going to be the roots. What I am thinking of doing now is I'll be cutting this here, right here, and I'll be propagating it. Once this gets a few roots, this bud gets a few bigger roots, I'll be cutting it down here. This bud will start growing. When it gets about this size and has a few roots, a little bigger than this actually, I'll be snipping it off here, and then we will have this bud growing mostly. Just a minute. Yeah, we do not have anything here. Okay, alrighty. So yeah, let's see. Hope to see this have a little bigger roots pretty soon. Okay, so that's it for now about this cane. So okay, actually, canes of these orchids, this is a Dendrobium phalaenopsis. So canes of these orchids, or any orchids for that matter, are actually not canes or stems. They are bulbs. They are called as pseudobulbs. They do store energy in them. The whole of the cane has energy in it, which is why this can grow. Another one from this, it'll be this one. This has the same story. It is from the same plant, and we have some real good news here. When I thought of rescuing this, giving this one a chance, for me there was like clearly no signs of any budding or anything over this. But then I just thought, if I'm rescuing the other one, why not give this a chance? And here we are. We have one bud, we have two buds, we have a third one coming up here, right here, and I guess we'll have a fourth one coming up right here. If you guys can see this green spot, it is going to come out, tear through this white covering of the older leaf. It is going to be like this, and this one is then going to come out this way. You need to notice for very minute signs when you need to see if your orchid, which is in this condition, which is rootless, has any signs of new growth. If you move your finger over this, you can feel a slight elevation, whereas here it is smooth. That is a sign that there is going to be a bud coming up from there. So I'm going to do the same with this. Once this bud, it grows a little bigger, it gets a few roots, I'm going to snip it off. I'm going to keep it another media and go on cutting it, so on. So this one, actually, if you guys can see those yellow brown spots up right here, this is the cinnamon powder I had applied, which is why it is still not decaying. But if you guys can see, if I press it, it is soggy. It is soggy. It is still decaying. Maybe my watering has been a little lot for these, because you need, for orchids to propagate without roots, you need moisture, you need humidity. This happens when the medium is wet, and I am pretty sure now that I get to see this, I might just snip it off here or keep it like this for a few days and then see if this is gonna go up to this part of the cane. I'm also going to reduce watering. So actually what has been happening, my mistake, maybe I didn't notice, almost half of the cane was inside the medium, which should not be the case. We need only half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of the cane to be in the medium. That is when it will get proper moisture and humidity. If you put this big a part of your cane in the medium, it is going to be deeper, it is going to be in contact with water for a longer time, and that is going to start doing this to it. Okay, so yeah, this is the another one, and we'll come to this one. So this, when I rescued it, it had around, I guess, 4 to 5 canes, and it had no roots at all. So let's see where we are. I am glad, I am very much happy, very happy. Oh my god, I can't believe this, I just can't believe this. Okay guys, so let's start. If you guys can see these two canes, they are very healthy, but the roots of these, they are all black, they are all mushy, and they are dead. If you guys see, this happens when I pull on the root. If you guys see, this happens to it. Just a second, let me show it to you guys. So this had pretty lengthy roots in the beginning. They were desiccated. I trimmed all the roots. I did try keeping a few roots which I felt were kind of healthy or were questionable. So I snipped the major part. I kept a very few roots just in case, to prevent it from dying by keeping no roots at all, or keeping it giving it a bigger chance to grow. So this, I have put this in the medium again somewhere around 15 days back, 15-20 days maybe at the most. I guess 15 days back somewhat, and 15 days back, yeah. This or this, nothing was present. So this had a few canes, 3-4 canes from this side. If you guys can see, I have snipped them off, and because they were all brown, they were decayed, they were mushy, and they were soggy, whatever, sorry. So yeah, now what I'm going to do is, this growth started, I guess, around 10 days back. Now if you guys see, if you guys notice, this is arriving from the base of the cane, while the previous ones which I showed you were not arriving from the base of the cane. They are from the side of the cane. They are arriving from the nodes. So orchids, when they have a base, they do tend to prefer their new growths coming up from the base. Whenever your base of the orchid is intact with roots, dead or alive, new growths tend to start from the base. When there is no option left for the orchid to survive, that is when it starts throwing out shoots and buds from the sides, from the nodes. So what I am going to be doing now is, I'm just going to be snipping off all these black roots because I know they are dead. Dead roots. See, they just, if I try, taking out the outer covering, pulling off the outer covering, it just tends to come off easily. So in healthy roots, if you guys see, if I snip this root off, I won't be able to see this, the inner root and the outer covering as separate. Okay, this is going to work as a single unit, the inner root and the outer covering. So the roots of orchids, how do they work? This outer covering of orchids that we see, that is black and brown in color currently, this one, the job of this is to absorb moisture from the air and lock it inside. Moisture once absorbed inside cannot escape back to the atmosphere. This moisture is absorbed by these roots. This is a true root. The inner part is a true root. This is just the outer coating of it that assists the root in absorbing enough moisture from the atmosphere. Now if you guys see, when the outer covering and the root are separate, they are no more working together. They are no more working together. That is when we know that the root is dead. Also, I am just going to snip off all of these older roots because we do not want any dead or decaying matter in here. That is going to pose a threat to this new developing buds or kikis, the so-called kikis. If these roots have any infection, they can just pass on to the new roots, the white ones that you can see, which can then again infect the new kikis. So I'm just gonna grab my scissor and I'm gonna snip these off, like really and literally, without without any hesitation at all. So what I am thinking is I might keep a few on this side of this cane, the roots that are attached to this cane, a few on this side. I might keep these because we do not see any new growth coming anywhere around this cane. This kiki is coming from this cane, so we are just going to cut off this one because this cane will get newer roots once it has been established properly. So slowly, making sure I do not hurt the newer developments, I'm gonna snip these off, like quite literally. Okay, this doesn't seem to come off. I'm going to cut as much as it is. I'm going to cut only those that can be easily gotten rid of. I'm not going to try going deeper and deeper to cut them because I might just end up damaging the newer roots. Alright. I'm now just going to quickly give this a bath because of all of this dead matter which I do not want to be there. I'm just going to quickly wash this lightly and delicately under running water, which is room temperature. Whenever you wash your orchids, do make sure that the water is room temperature. You do not want to use water that is cold or warm because the orchids tend to go into shock very soon and very easily. So that's what we are going to do now. I'll just give this thing a wash and be right back. Okay guys, I'm back and I've washed these pretty well. This area has now become pretty clean, and if you guys can see this white thing here, small spot, this thing, okay, this thing right here, this is the new root coming up. So we'll have this growing pretty soon. It has started getting its green color as well. What I am going to do with this is once this kiki grows up, I might just keep these intact just like they are, wait for them to grow buds. If I feel they're going to take way too long to do that, I might just snip a few cuttings from it, like around 2 to 3 nodes. I might just snip off 2 to 3 nodes, place that part in a separate medium and try propagating it so that it develops this.
So yes, that's it guys. Can't wait for these babies to bloom in the upcoming season. Hope the video did cover what you were looking for. If you guys liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Do hit the bell icon and do share. If you didn't like the video, be free to give a thumbs down. Do point your suggestions and comments in the comments box below. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the upcoming update next time. Bye.